All right, y'all. Welcome back to Dead Spot Podcast. We're here with the second episode of Real Talk Tuesday. I appreciate all the feedback and comments from the first episode. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. It was truly appreciated. If you have any topics you would like for me to cover moving forward, reach out to me in my DMs. If I say anything in these episodes that hit home for you or you just want to discuss some things, I'm always open to my DMs. Hit me up and we'll talk about it. But for this second episode, we will be discussing Survivors Remorse. Now, listen, in my men's group that I oversee, this was a topic that came up a lot. And I was wondering how many people from troubled neighborhoods dealt with this because this is something that I dealt with a lot growing up. I grew up in a community that had a lot of violence, a lot of drugs and different things with crime. And a lot of times people that come from them type of neighborhoods, when you do make it out into a better situation, you can feel guilty for your family members or your friends that didn't have the same somewhat luck and somewhat success that you had to make it out of those situations. And when I say luck, I don't mean that in a negative way. I just do feel like growing up in these communities, it comes with you have to have a little bit of luck to make it out due to the simple fact, like, it's gun violence, it's different drugs, it's so many temptations, it's so many different things that could harm your life or that can take your life from you around each corner. So you have to be able to maneuver around some things, but it's also got to be, you got to catch a couple breaks, in my opinion, a lot of the times for this to work out. So it comes with a lot of, guilt, I would say. Like, it comes with a lot of sense of you leaving people behind or you not fully supporting people in the way that they may need you to. And that might make you feel like you're responsible for some of them not reaching their full potential. But, it's just something that you have to deal with. I'm going to talk about a few things that kind of like had me feeling like this on the course of my life. Like, first of all, I like to say, growing up in a community like that, I got in trouble too. So I'm not trying to act like I'm not somebody, like I had to leave a high school for some trouble that I got into. And so I'm not somebody that just was able to just completely uh, maneuver through the hood without getting in any type of things like that. I got in my fair share of trouble, but the support that I got from my mom throughout my entire life was super important in me not getting into a rabbit hole and going downhill. You know what I'm saying? Like, the thing with her was she was super on me and my little sister. She was a single mom, but she was super supportive. And her biggest thing was always for making sure, like, we didn't really make the same mistake twice. Like I said, I got in trouble in high school, but it was more like, okay, so now you did this. What are we going to do now to bounce back? And how are you going to stay on the right track? It was never like, oh, you got in trouble. Like, throw my hands up. Like, sometimes parents, and they do be supportive of their kids until they start getting in trouble, then they kind of just throw their hands up and just let them just spiral out. Which that could have been my situation, where it's like you get in trouble, it's like, oh man, nobody believe in me no more, and you kind of just lose it. But for me, my mom, she stayed on me, she stayed with me, and I appreciate her for that, because growing up, it's like you don't really see a lot of parents that's like that, like especially where I grew up, where it's like they constantly own you, they making sure you got your homework done, they making sure who you hanging out with, and making sure you're in the right groups, and if you're in the wrong groups, trying to help steer you away from that. Growing up, it's like, that could be kind of annoying, having that type of parent, when you having other friends who parents is either kind of too busy with work, or some of them just caught up in their own life and they not giving them the effort that they need, and they get to just run wild. But growing, it's like, oh man, you lucky your parent not all up in your business and this and that. But once you look back at it, the parents that was all up in your business was the ones that gave you the most foundation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a sturdy foundation that I was able to bring into my relationship with Angie, into my parenting with my kids, into just my everyday life, and I appreciate that. And that's something that when you look back on it, it's like I dealt with some people feeling away about how close me and my mom was. I had friends that who parents was just not involved, and they used to be like, oh, you just a mama's boy. And growing up, it'd be like, oh, I used to hate that. But like, now that I got older and now I work with kids, it's like some of them people was doing that because they was like, they wish that could have been their situation. And as we got older, you started to see the ramifications of some of that. Like, after I got it, after high school, it's like, going straight off to college, went to school and was able to go to school for free. I had a bunch of scholarships and stuff. So I had my pick of the litter. Like, I had a bunch of schools I could have went to, and I had friends that wasn't their path. I had friends that either wasn't good in school or had dropped out of school and was now selling drugs or doing different things. But like, that didn't change how I felt about them. But in a way, it kind of changed the way some of them felt about me. And these things start to kind of come out as the years went on, as I went off to school. And it's like they started to treat me as if like, oh, you think you better than us because you get to go to college and you're not living here no more, and different things like that. And some of that can kind of seep into your head because it's like, to me, y'all all still my peoples. Like, this is where I grew up. Like, in college, I was never ashamed to be like, oh yeah, I grew up in Bayview, Hunters Point. Like, that's where I'm from. Oh yeah, it's a rough community. Oh yeah, but I love it. Like, I never felt any type of way about people that was from there or the community. But it start to feel like when people that you grow up with and y'all have the same, y'all go to the same schools and y'all play on the same sports team, and you kind of have similar grow up, like a similar life growing up, to then go different ways. It makes them feel a way because it's like, well, it makes people around you be like, well, why was they able to do it and you wasn't? And y'all was on similar paths. So instead of them being happy for you, it's kind of like, oh, I wish they sometimes wish it could be them, and then they want to make you feel a way about that, and it could work. Like, I used to be really like try to be empathetic to a lot of my people that was back home, and they would call and ask for different things, and or try to get me to do this or write this for them, and I would just do it because it's like, oh man, I am getting a better. I am getting a chance to better myself here. They still back there. Let me try to just help. And I've always tried to just be like, extend a hand, extend a hand, extend a hand. But you have to realize that it's not your fault that they didn't take advantage of some of the same circumstances. It's not even your fault if you have good parents. I feel like a lot of people get, you see on social media and stuff like that. It's like, oh well, if your parents did stuff for you when you was growing up, if your parents bought you your first car and did this and that, and you didn't have to struggle for it, then you shouldn't be talking because that's a luxury that everybody don't get to have. But just because you had a good parent, don't mean that you don't have good work ethic, or don't mean that you should have to struggle. The whole point of having parents and the whole point of being a good parent is so your kids don't struggle. So to then turn around and make fun of people for having good parents, it's like, I used to get that because my mom bought me my first car. Like, I wasn't somebody that just had to work, 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 work. Like, even though my mom, we didn't have the most money, she made things happen to where it's like we didn't have to work during school. I played sports, so it's like I had basketball for like most of the year. I didn't have to go get off basketball practice and go to a working job like some of the people I knew. And even though that's a tougher situation for them to have to deal with that, like, I used to be like, damn, I feel bad for them that I don't have to do it. Like, and would want to try to take on more than I could chew when that wasn't my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And just falling into these traps of letting people make you feel a way about your success and the things that you worked hard for. Like, it's like, oh, well, you get to go to school for free. You ain't even got to pay for it. Like, I didn't get to get them opportunities. Like, and I'm in my head, I'm like, dang, I feel bad. But realistically, I had to work hard for them scholarships. I had to maintain good grades. Even once I got in trouble and had to leave the school, I still had to maintain a high 3 point some GPA just to keep on the same track to even try to get to where I got to the scholarships. A lot of these kids that didn't get them, they wasn't doing their homework. They wasn't doing different things. They wasn't making the sacrifices to get this. Like, we would hang out. Like, we would go to the gym. We play basketball for hours. Then we might go shoot dice. We might get home at 8, 9 o'clock. A lot of my friends, you call them, see what you do. Oh yeah, bro, I just ate. I'm finna go lay down. Me, stay up and I would do homework because I knew I didn't want to let my mom down, and I knew I didn't want to, be put in a situation where it's like, oh, you can't hang out, because my mom was like that. If you don't get your grades together, you can't hang out with your friends. So I wanted to hang out, so I made sure I got good grades. So that was the effort that I put in. So to be feeling bad about that is like, why would I feel bad about succeeding in that realm? um I feel like that's a big part of it, and you can't really let people shortcomings dictate how you treat them or how you allow them to treat you, because people will play on the fact that they know you're a giving person, that you're nice, and that you are having some success, and they will wear you into the ground if you let them. And you have to find your boundaries. You have to be able to be like, I can't do that, or that's not something that I'm able to do right now. Like for me, once I graduated college, like I learned so much in college, not even just about school, but life and stocks and life insurance and so much stuff that I was trying to bring everything back to the hood. Like, I made a stock group chat. I was talking to people about life insurance, talking about buying insurance for your kids and how to set them up. And at first, I was just so like excited about it. Like, yeah, we finna do this and do that. And a lot of the people that I was working with or talking with ended up not doing this, doing a lot of the stuff. Like they didn't end up buying the stocks or getting life insurance for their kids in the first year, like I was telling them to, or just different things. And it was really getting to me because it's like, dang, like I want everybody to win. And then if everybody doing better, maybe I won't feel like I'm doing this and they not, like, because we'll all be doing it. But at the end of the day, like that's not your place to take on what other people need to do. What I learned is, for me, my job is to, if I got information, spread the information out to my people. I love to spread information. If I hear anything, I want to share with however many people are willing to listen. But whatever they do with that information is on them. I used to be so like, bruh, you didn't do this, or why you didn't do, like, come on, like, come on, I stand with you and do it, or come on, I help you write it out. I help you figure out what stocks you want. And I would try to coddle people and hold their hand because I wanted everybody to win and experience some of the things that I was experiencing, but that wasn't my role. And it was starting to weigh on me, and I was feeling a way that it was these many people that wasn't, and that just wasn't healthy for me, and you start to deal with, you kind of start to get sad, and you kind of get into your own head of like, oh my God, like nobody's taking this serious. Nobody's doing what I'm asking, when that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to keep leading by example. Your responsibility is to keep growing in your day-to-day life and hoping that they follow your example. And one day when they ready to do it, you be there to support them through that. But if they not ready, you can't make somebody do something they're not willing to do. And that was one of the biggest lessons I had to learn. Another part of survivor's remorse is dealing with death, like, dealing with losing people and feeling like, whoa, like, why them, not, like, what I'm saying, and things like that. Like, another story I can give you all is when I was in college, one of my friends, my sophomore year of college, one of my friends passed away, and that was really hard on me. I didn't know, we was both sophomores in college. We had both got this scholarship, and we had both got a lot of scholarship. He was going to school in Atlanta. I was going to school out here, but we were both picked to be one of the top 5 people for that scholarship. And when I got the news that he had passed away, it tore me up, because it's like he has so much potential. He has so much going on for himself. And for us to be 19, and it's like we were just together at a scholarship meeting, and it was like, yeah, man, we're gonna do this. And he was telling me what he was gonna do for his family in the future and different plans he had. And it just, like, to hear that he was gone, I almost couldn't make it through that, because it's like, why him? It's like, what was the difference? Like, like, he got into a car accident. Like, I drive up and down all the freeway all day long, and it's like, it just didn't feel fair. And to me, like, it tore me up. I was for the whole sophomore year, I went through so much. Like, I just felt, I don't know why I felt so guilty, and I had literally nothing to do with the situation. But it's just like, I'm here in college, knowing that he should be in college as well, experiencing the same fun that I'm experiencing, learning the same things I'm learning, and all of that, and his life being taken away, and him not get to experience these things, it just felt like something that I couldn't really manage. And then on top of that, it was like I felt guilty that I felt so bad, and I was trying to kind of like mask it a little, because we was good friends, but I have friends that are a lot closer to him than I was at the time, and that were like best friends with him. So it's like I'm trying to manage my emotions so I could be there for them. And really, it was killing me. Even though we wasn't just like lock and steady best friends, we were on the same path. We were going down the same life trail. We was doing a lot of the similar things. And to lose him, like, I was really like, I started having panic attacks. I was going through so much during that year, because it's like, it just didn't feel real that somebody with that much potential was taken from us. And then I got to just keep going on and just being, a regular college student, something that he wouldn't get to have his full experience. He got the 1 year of it, and before he could go back for a second year, this tragic accident happened. So it's like, just and it still bothers me sometimes when I think about all the great experiences I had in school, all the great people I met. I met the godmother of our kid and our kids in college. Like, so I had lifelong friends and just different things like that. And it just eats me up that he got taken away from us. So for the longest time, it was like I really dealt with it. Should I even continue to do this? Like, if he don't get to do it, I don't feel right about it. And so at the time I was 19, I was young, I was hurt. I didn't really know how to, like, coming back to the last episode, I didn't know how to express myself and let out what I was going through, that I had just lost a friend, and I don't feel like I deserve to be able to do this because he didn't get to do it. And that was really something I had to deal with for a good amount of time. And what I had to end up realizing was that, when something happened to somebody or different tragic things happen, you have to just know that them people don't want you to just fall by the wayside. In my opinion, the best way to honor people is to keep winning, is to succeed and to live the life that that they were capable of living, that they were going to live if this tragedy didn't happen. And it took me a while to get to that place. But once I got to that place, it's like everything now I see, like, and it's even with my friends, like when different accomplishments come up, it's like, man, my boy would have been happy to see that. Or, what I'm saying? He would have been happy to hear about this going on or this happening in my life, or one of our close friends having an accomplishment, you know what I'm saying? And you have to kind of try to find solace in that. And I feel like if you can do that, then you could, you know what I'm saying, you could kind of deal with things, never really get over things, because it's like, and that'll be another episode of like trauma, dealing with trauma, and like how people try to put a timeline on it. There's no real timeline on dealing with situations like that, but it gets easier once you know, like, hey, I'm putting my best foot forward, and you owe it to them people that you care about, that you love, that's no longer with you, to give it your all. Because by them passing away, by him passing away at 19, and I didn't have other friends that passed away at younger ages and things like that, but it was something about when he passed away that really let me know, like, hey, man, your time here on earth is not promised. The next day is not promised. You got to just give it your all every single day. And that's in whatever you got going on. You have to give it your all, because you could wait. You could literally be here today and gone tomorrow. And that's something I've carried with me. And that's why I try to be super compassionate. I try to be super, like, invested in whatever it is I'm doing, because it's a privilege and it's an honor to be here and to be alive. That was 10 years ago. We was 19. I'm 29 years old now. So to get those extra 10 years that my friend wasn't able to get is a blessing, and it's not something to be taken for granted, because I could sit here and name a bunch of people that I grew up with that didn't get to see their 18th birthday, their 21st birthday, their 25th birthday. If God say the same, I'll be able to see my 30th birthday in less than a year. And that's a big deal. We just celebrated one of my friends' 30th birthdays. And I was reminiscing on some of the people that we've lost, and it's like how big of a deal it was to see him turn 30 and to be able to celebrate that. And we got our families, and we homeowners, and it's just a blessing to look at that. And usually it'd be like, oh man, and he grew up how I grew up in these neighborhoods and things like that. But it's not a thing of like, man, like, oh, we should feel a way about it. It's like, no, we should be feeling blessed and honored that this is the life we live, because we know how many didn't get to do it. And you have to just keep that mindset. If you keep that mindset, you could go a long way. And I'm sure the people that's looking down on you, that you feeling guilty about, that you feel like you may could have did something to stop it, or a conversation you might have could have had with them, the way you make up for that is by putting your best foot forward every step of the way. That's how I look at it. And survivor's remorse is something that when people say they're dealing with that, I think it's something that people look at like, oh, so you feel bad that you're doing good. It's like it's like a crazy concept to say, because it's like, yes, I do feel bad that I'm doing better than some of the people that I care about, because some people genuinely want everybody to win. And I'm somebody that And from the bottom of my heart, I want everybody that I care about, even people that I don't care about, people that I don't know, like random people reach out to me and I will help you. Like I just love supporting people. Like, I feel like I've been blessed with, like I said, my mom, I've been blessed with a beautiful wife that's super supportive. We feel like we could give support. And if I got something to give, I give it to whoever. Like that's just where I come from. But with that is one of the last points I want to touch on. When you're somebody that's always giving back, please make sure to take time for yourself and to take time to care for you. Because if you don't, you will lose yourself in giving and giving to others. And then once it's time to take a little bit for yourself, it might not be nothing left. And them people that you helped, I guarantee you, all the people that you help will not all be there to return that for you the same way that you was there for them. That's just the way life works. Everybody is not going to reciprocate the same energy you gave to them. So that's why when you give your energy, you got to give it freely with not trying to get anything back in return, because people will disappoint you if you are expecting certain things back from people. You got to just give from a place of love and willing to support, but don't give too much to where you feel like you have drained yourself. You never want to feel like that, because if you're drained and you can't take care of yourself, how will you have stuff to give to others? And it's something that I still deal with sometimes. Like I said, all of these topics and stuff that I'm still working through and things like that, but I've gotten a lot better at knowing what's meant for you is meant for you. And if everybody willing to put in the hard work, that people can make it to where they want to go, but everybody isn't willing to grind and put in that effort that's needed to make it. And that's why you have people that do and you have people that don't. But you are just responsible for your own being. Nothing more, nothing less. You know what I'm saying? Help out where you can, but don't take on anybody else's. And that don't matter who it is. That's not the responsibility of nobody to live nobody else's life for 'em. It's a blessing that you get to live yours. And that's my word of the day. That's what I got for y'all. See y'all next week. Peace.